Welcome to the Family Meeting Podcast. We're glad that you're with us, YouTube.
Merry February.
People don't say that, baby.
They do now. This has been our argument all February long.
I know, you need to stop it. You're not learning. I keep telling you no.
And I keep saying yes.
You can't tell him anything. So how's your February been going so far? I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. Hopefully you had some good celebrations, celebrated your love. We had a good Valentine's.
Or hopefully you've had the week to get over whatever disappointment it was, and you're not as angry or upset anymore.
And right now we are rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
My Valentine's Day was great. Got to do all my favorite things, favorite snacks, favorite person. It was great.
You and Coconut spent the day together?
Yep. Just me and Coconut.
We were talking today about the fact that Coconut loves Thomas more than I love Thomas.
Yeah. And it's not even a close second.
That dog loves him so much.
But we went to the movies together.
Yeah.
Saw Madam Web. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was all the things that Thomas likes, and it was fun to get to treat him this year because for 20 plus years, he has been making Valentine's Day special for me. And this year I was like, it's not about me, it's going to be about you. Now, for the next 20 years, it's about me.
Yeah.
But
you need to be watching my social media because while we were at the movies, we saw a preview for Chauncey, this little bear.
It's a horror movie. It looks horrible.
It's a scary movie. And my girls had already planned to go see the same movie with their friends that night. So we were seeing the movie before they did. And so I figured they would watch the same exact previews we did, and they did. So I told Lysandra while we were in the movie, we've got to find Violet's teddy bear that looks like Chauncey. And while they're out, I set it on a chair on the landing of our stairs so they couldn't miss it when they came home.
Yeah, they basically, when they came up the stairs, they couldn't go around it. Like, it was either they were going to have to pass this teddy bear or move the teddy bear at night in the dark after watching the teddy bear horror preview.
Yeah. So it was great.
It was pretty funny.
A couple of the girls, it got them very good.
They didn't scream or anything. I was hoping for a scream and a big reaction, and they didn't. They all just froze and were they were terrified but didn't scream.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
So when you talk about
parents.
flight or fight or freeze, two of my daughters froze.
Yes.
The one daughter was not even paying attention. Abigail was not even paying attention. She was looking back at Violet or whatever. She was literally up the stairs and then was just like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah. It didn't work for
Didn't
Abigail.
phase Isabella. But the oldest and the youngest definitely got them. So
Got 'em.
I'm posting that soon.
Yeah. So
Make sure you
watch
check
that.
it out.
So that was our Valentine's. Hope you had a good one. Share with us what yours was all about. Today we're going to be talking about looking for the positives, and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Because, even talking about our Valentine's Day, if we wanted, we could find bad things that happened that day. We could find things that didn't go exactly as we wanted.
Yeah.
But the truth is we choose not to think about those. We choose not to remember them. And we focus on the positives, and it makes life a lot better. So we're going to talk about that today, and you get to watch.
Lucky you.
All right, babe, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
You know what? Wait, I'm going to take off my shoes. It's going to be loud.
Good idea.
We good?
We're good.
Okay.
Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Osterkamps. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, Loudfeet.
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 178 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to discuss finding what you're looking for. Thomas, you never, ever can find anything, can you?
I cannot.
But there's one thing that I know you could find if you would look for it, and that is the negative.
That's true.
Yeah.
I see the reality. It's not the negative.
Thomas likes to say he's not a pessimist, he's a realist.
I am a realist.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what it is about my stuff. I can never find my stuff.
No, never. Nothing. Ever. Women, how many of you out there are you feel my pain, and your husband is constantly coming to you and being like, hey, where's my hat? I can't find my sweatshirt. Have you seen my shoes? Where are my running shoes? That's my life all the time.
I share a lot of memes in Family Meeting community group about not being husbands not being able to find stuff because it's so relatable for me.
And all of the women are like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And yet, this is the thing, though, ladies. There's a part of me that loves to be the one to find things for him. Because I like to take care of you.
Yeah, well, you do a good job most of the time. Most of the time, you know right where my stuff is.
Usually I know.
Every once in a while.
Okay, so this isn't even the topic of our discussion today, but ladies, if you are frustrated of always finding your husband's stuff, try to look at it like it's a really sweet way that you can take care of him. You fill a need nobody else can.
Yeah.
Try to look at it positively.
And don't be so annoyed, but...
Try not to be annoyed, which literally that's what we're talking about. If you look for the lovely, you're going to find lovely. If you look for positives in your marriage and in your spouse, that's what you'll find. So the question is, what are you looking for? And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Now, we have 3 marriage events scheduled already for 2024 that we're excited about. Got one in April, one in May, one coming up in August. And we just scheduled our first one for 2025 with Josh Buteau in Grace Baptist Church in Pekin, Illinois. And I'm excited about this for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's just over 2.5 hours to my hometown where we grew up.
Yeah, we're going back to our roots, back to the Midwest.
Yeah, now
Midwest, whoop whoop.
That's in February, so I'm not too excited about that.
I like a little taste of the snow in the cold. Little, you know.
I'm gonna have to buy a heavy coat, but this is February 21st through 23rd of 2025. So we're excited for their married couples retreat that we're going to be a part of. It'll be a great time, a great event. You will be able to get all the information as we have it and register. We'll post that on our social media channels and make sure that's on our event section of our website. But we've got a lot of people we know in the Midwest, and so we want to invite you to come and be a part of it, spend part of your weekend. You may not be able to travel out with us to Washington State if you live in Iowa, or you live in Illinois or Indiana, but here's one going to be in Illinois right around Valentine's Day, so you can plan a special Valentine weekend and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a good time. And
the cool thing about that, if you travel like 2 to 2.5 hours to like a marriage event, this is the thing that I think is so positive about it. You have that whole drive there where you can talk and invest in your marriage. Then you have the marriage conference that gives you all these ideas and maybe homework and papers and questions to ask and whatever. Then that drive home, I think, is the best ever.
Because you're like, man, these 2 idiots had no idea what they were talking about. And you just dog the speakers for the whole 2.5 hours
You
home.
can do that. What we typically do, though, is we'll go through like the stuff that was talked about and we'll talk about our relationship. And we always go home like feeling so close because we have that car ride.
Yeah.
We just like discuss everything that we just went over. I always find that really profitable for our marriage. So hopefully we'll see some old friends there. All right, let's talk about this topic of discussion for today. We're going to get into this conversation about finding what you're looking for. And no, we aren't talking about physical things that you look for. We are going to talk about finding the positives or the negatives in your spouse and in your marriage. Have you ever noticed that when you get a new car, you begin to see that same car everywhere you go?
Yeah.
I mean, that happens like this is such a relatable point, I feel like.
So this week we have my sister-in-law's car at our house for reasons. And so I had to use it the other day, and I stopped at the grocery store on my way to pick up the girls, and I came out of the grocery store, and all of a sudden I was like, what does the car look like?
Did you know what color it was?
I had an idea that it was white.
But you weren't even certain about the color?
But I couldn't remember like what kind of car it was.
Yeah.
So I'm standing here like, man, I hope I can remember. So it's just weird when you're used to looking for a certain thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it does seem like if you're coming out of the grocery store or some sort of a store and there's a big parking lot and like you're looking for your white SUV, it seems like there's 100 white SUVs. All of a sudden, there's all these SUVs in the parking lot. And you see them because you're looking for a white SUV. If you have, a black sedan, you don't notice all the white SUVs because you're looking for black sedans. Yeah. You're looking for your own car. But
now, have you ever gotten in the wrong car because
it
was exactly like yours?
I've done that more than one time. I hate that that's true. I have gotten into a rental car with a stranger.
Oh, that was the best. That was in Las Vegas.
I got in the car with a man.
We stopped at Starbucks on her birthday, and she went in to get her drink. And when she came out, she got in the car next to us.
Same. It was both white sedans. Like, they looked identical.
So she gets in the car with some random dude in Las Vegas.
And here is what is so bad about this. Thomas and our friends, Ryan and Faith, were watching.
We just watched
They
it do it.
saw me doing it. And none
awesome.
of them, like, they didn't honk. They didn't, like, roll down their window and be like, hey, over here. They just watched me get in a car with a stranger.
Have any of you guys out there ever got in a car with a stranger?
I hope
Like,
someone
just because,
else has.
not your Uber, like, you literally just got in the wrong car.
Accidentally. And I have gotten into a minivan that I thought was ours, that wasn't ours, and then got right back out. But it was empty.
Yeah. But I was talking with the guys from our leadership group. I do a men's leadership group twice a month at our house. And we were literally talking about this topic. And I had not remembered that this was going to be our podcast for today.
Oh.
And so we were literally talking about the same thing about, hey, understanding the way you view the world. And if you're not viewing it correctly, then learning how to reframe that. But understanding how you view the world. And so I literally was talking about this car thing where it's like, if you get a car, like I see every Honda Odyssey on the road.
Yeah.
No matter what color it is. Like I just noticed that van now. Mm-hmm. Because we've had a Honda Odyssey for the last 16 years, 17 years or whatever.
It's interesting how that works. I mean, whatever you're looking for is what you see. And so it is with positivity or negativity in your spouse.
And I typically, I like to call myself a realist, but I tend to, and I was sharing this with the guys, I tend to see the negative side of things. Like I just expect that things are not going to work out.
I cannot imagine living life that way. I expect everything to work out great.
Yeah. And it's just funny how we're exact opposites. Yeah.
But I don't feel like I don't think that you view me negatively at all.
No.
Rather, I think oftentimes I'm having to tell you, no, I can't do that. I'm not Superwoman. I cannot handle this. I'm constantly trying to tell him like that I can't do things, and
now,
he's
am I
believing
right?
everything in me. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes I can't do something.
Name the last time you couldn't do something.
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I wasn't
Every
prepared.
time I've challenged you to do something or said you can do it, you always find a way to do it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you see positivity in me, but you see a lot of negativity otherwise.
But I think about what Abraham Lincoln said.
Okay.
Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it.
I know that's true.
And this is specific, we see this in churches all the time. Like if you expect your church to fail, your pastor to fail, or whatever, like it's going to happen because we're human. But when you think about your spouse, right? Think of your spouse's annoying habit. Think of that thing that they do that drives you crazy.
Wait,
Okay.
I need more time. There's a lot.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not offended by this at all. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you the question. Share a couple of things I do that really just annoys you. I know one of them right away.
What?
I chew my tongue.
I hate that. It's the top of the thing because it's so weird.
And I don't even realize I'm doing it.
It's like, I don't know why you do it. I don't know. I mean, you did it as a teenager. I remember you doing it as a teenager.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if it's like stress, like it's my way to deal with stress maybe. I don't know why I chew my tongue, but I do. I'm sure
weird and
there's a
it's gross,
scientific reason.
but I love you.
So that's one of them. What's one of them? What's something else?
That's the only one I could think of when you first said it. I wasn't prepared to answer this. All right, you go while I'm thinking. What's one thing that I do that annoys you?
So here's the thing though.
You're smiling like she's going to be mad.
No, I don't think you're going to be mad. I'm smiling because there are literally times where I don't care about this. And then every once in a while, it's so annoying. Like I just want to do whatever it takes to make it stop.
You know what? It's because once a month you're more irritable.
That could be it. Yeah. My menstrual cycle.
Okay, what is it?
So it's how loud you eat.
I love food, y'all. I love food. It's a bad problem.
But and your chewing is just loud. Now,
I eat like an animal. Ha!
most of the time, I don't notice. I don't pay attention. Every once in a while, like the other night, we were eating in our bed, which is not unusual.
I love eating in my bed.
That reminds me of another annoying thing is you spilling crap all over the bed. Crumbs and everything else.
That will never change, love.
When I wake up and I've got your food all over my back, that makes me upset.
That sounds so much worse than it actually is.
No, it's not.
It sounds like you've got like a bowl of chili dumped on your back.
Yeah.
That's not it.
It's
more like a crumb. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. This has turned into a podcast of us just talking about negative traits about ourselves.
Yes, but that's the thing.
Okay.
So,
the other night, I was chewing loud.
Yeah, you were eating, and it was just like, I didn't say anything, which is I feel good about that. I waited till the podcast to like let it out.
Now is the time.
I don't know, and I don't know why.
Why it irritated you?
I don't know why it was so irritating, but every once in a while, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, what is happening over there? It was like a horse with a feed bag on or something. It was so loud.
That is really mean. Okay, so bottom line, we all have negative, annoying things that we do.
We do.
We could continue to list, but we won't because we want to stay in love even after this episode.
All right, so just think of that one thing.
Them, they're thinking. Our listeners are thinking of the thing that annoys them.
Yeah, we shared some of ours.
Okay.
Think of yours. All right. What about that one phrase they say that will always make you mad?
Oh, like you're too sensitive.
Yeah. Or calm down. Do you like it when I say calm down?
You don't ever say that to me.
Oh.
Do you? I don't remember you ever saying that to me.
Is there something I say to you that makes you mad? I know if we're having a discussion about something.
Yeah. When you say we're not going to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
I don't like that because it feels like my feelings don't matter and what my time frame doesn't matter. So I've asked him when we're not in the heated discussion to say, can we please talk about this later? Because that feels different than when you say we're not going to talk about this anymore. It's like, okay,
and I see that,
master.
But I do know, like, you don't like the phrase "it is what it is."
No, that's just an annoying one though. That doesn't make me mad.
Yeah. So
anything I say that makes you mad?
No.
No.
What about think of the chore that they're often leaving undone?
I have a list for this one.
I'm sure that you do. I'm way better than I used to be.
Yeah, you are. You're
learning
like
and growing.
amazing now.
Learning and growing.
Is there a chore that I leave that undone that you get annoyed?
Just me.
Okay, I'll work on it.
But if you focus on these and look for them, you're going to notice them every time. Mm-hmm. So if I'm looking for the loud chewing, you better believe I'm going to find it most of the day.
Day? Oh. Like I'm eating all day?
You do like the snack.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're eating marshmallows. Why is that so loud?
Oh, stop it. I hate marshmallows.
You're drinking coffee. Why are you chewing like that?
There you go.
So, but you're going to do that. You're going to notice.
You're going to notice the thing that
you're looking for.
Right.
It's what you're looking for. You're going to find it. Even Jesus said that.
Yes, he did.
Seek and you will find.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So but you're expecting them to fail. And then when they do, you're acting surprised or angry about it.
Yeah.
But you're looking for it.
So you got what you were looking for. And we see this principle in scripture, like Thomas said, but back in Proverbs, we see it, that what you look for, you're going to find. In Proverbs 11:27, whoever diligently seeks good, seeks favor, but evil comes to him who searches for it. So you're going to find whatever you look for. And it even shows in this verse the positive and negative sides of this. If you're looking for positivity, you're going to find it. If you look for evil or wickedness or failures or faults, you're going to find that too. So that means we need to be regularly examining ourselves to see what we're looking for. And I think that this is something that we try to do frequently in our lives is self-examination in a lot of different ways.
Totally.
But specifically even about this, I know that Thomas tries not to pay attention to how I eat, how I chew, because he doesn't want to always be irritated with me. I try not to notice his chewing.
You notice it a lot, though.
It's so loud. There's one time when I was like, I'm trying to watch a movie here. You think you could be a little more quiet? So yeah, it's loud. But we've got to try not to notice those things and rather look for the good. And we're going to talk about how you can do that in a little bit.
So we found this interesting article on this topic in the Daily Bell by Joel F. Wade. The Joel F. Wade.
Who we don't know who that is.
And he said this: when you approach somebody with positive expectations, they will often, not always, tend to move somewhat in that direction. And when you approach that same person with negative expectations, they will often, not always, tend to move somewhat in that direction. Mm-hmm. And I think that's true.
Yeah. And there are a lot of studies out there on this. So this phenomenon was studied several decades ago by Robert Rosenthal and Leonore Jacobson. And they reported it in their book, The Pygmalion Effect. In the study, they told elementary school teachers that certain students showed high aptitude on intelligence tests. Now, this was bogus. The students were chosen completely at random, okay? But over the next year, those students from whom the teachers expected impressive work did indeed do better than their peers. Now, it makes me wonder, did the teachers just lean more in their direction?
Yeah.
Or did the students behave better and produce better work because their teachers expected it? It does make me wonder. Or maybe a little of both.
Yeah, but if a teacher thinks somebody's intelligent, you're gonna treat them totally different.
Yes.
As far as how you educate them versus somebody you think is dumb.
Yeah, and we
because
don't
I think
even know
about the way you treat me.
Yeah. I treat you like you're very intelligent.
No, that's not the case. So that's why I'm downgrading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Thomas was the guy who in college was on the dean's list all the time, never did study. He never studied. He always turned in assignments and stuff, but never studied, wrote his papers at the last second. That's the kind of guy he was. He was like always getting good grades and barely putting in any work.
It's not, I don't need to do it until it's due.
You're smart.
Like that's the due date.
You're a very intelligent person.
Then I don't know why you treat me differently.
Stop it.
In another study, though, newly married couples who continue to actively look for the best in each other do not lose the initial love and satisfaction of their marriage. Those who don't actively look for the best in each other suffer a significant decline over the first 3 years.
That's fast.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and we've talked about this and hit on it already, but we all do annoying stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm sure that Lysandra does a lot more annoying stuff than I notice. And I'm sure that's true. I don't know that I do more annoying stuff than you notice. You probably notice, but you look for positive things. We all do that kind of stuff. So if I'm looking for all the negatives and I'm just dwelling on the negative, that changes the way that I think about a person. It changes the way I feel about a person. So this does not surprise me that after 3 years, you could have a relationship totally different.
Yeah.
And
it can be significant change.
And it's one of those reasons why I think the divorce rate is so high is because we're not looking for the positive. We're not expecting the good.
Right.
We're focusing in on the negative all the time.
And, we've been talking about little annoying habits, right? And that's a real thing in marriage. But there's also things that are like legit negatives, like maybe losing their temper, or there are things that are wrong, right? That our spouses do that are character flaws. I'm not talking about like blatant like sin, open sin that I'm just going to indulge in and stay in for the rest of my life. I'm talking about like let's use you and me. Thomas, especially when we first got married, had a real problem with anger.
Oh yeah, totally.
And like obviously I didn't like that, and I know that it was wrong, but he was actively working on that and trying to gain victory over that through the Holy Spirit, through the word, through prayer and self-control. But he didn't like get where he is right now immediately. There were many years where I had to choose not to focus on the anger issue, right? I had I chose to look at the positive things.
But it's also, I think, not necessarily even looking for something that's actually there. So, say, for instance, you have somebody who's been cheated on in the past. They enter in a new relationship, and they're looking for their spouse to cheat on them.
Yeah, expecting it.
And so you can project. I'm not saying it's going to make your spouse cheat on you, but it hinders the relationship if you're treating them like they did something they didn't, or if you're looking for them to do something that they're not currently doing. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be something they're actively doing. It's just you're looking for a negative.
Right. So
you're looking for things to fall apart. You're looking for somebody to fail you.
All of those things apply, though. Whether it's a knowing habit, a sin, or flaw that they are doing but trying to overcome, or if it's something you're projecting on them that they've never done.
Negative expectation.
Negative expectation. All of these things are negativity that we can look for that maybe aren't even there, maybe are there, but either way, it's going to ruin your relationship. That's the point. It's going to ruin your relationship, and it's really going to ruin your life because you're going to make yourself miserable as you look at all this. You look for these bad things, you are going to focus on them, and you're going to feel like your whole life stinks.
Now, we want to flip the coin for just a second and say we are encouraging you to focus on the positive, to see the positive. We are not asking you to overlook gross failures and abuse and sins and things like that. So we have episodes that we talk about those sorts of things, but just kind of want to set that for somebody who may be listening thinking, oh, they're telling me just to ignore the emotional, verbal, physical abuse or my husband looking at porn or my wife looking at porn or whatever else. No, we're not saying overlook those things.
Right.
But learning to see the positive.
Right. Okay, so let's say that you've been listening to this episode and you're like, oh, raising your hand, guilty. It's me. I have been looking for negatives. I have been seeing negatives, or maybe you say, I didn't think I was really looking for them, but it turns out I see them a lot. Okay, we have an exercise for you.
Yep.
We're gonna offer you help because we want to not only just point out these things and be like, oh, this is negative, this is bad, this is gonna hurt your relationship, but we want to give you a step that you can take. How can you correct the course that you're on? And so that's what this exercise is about.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be fun. And I look forward to you and me doing this later. Thomas and I have not yet done this. We've done this in the past, but not specifically in this kind of setting. So I'm looking forward to doing this as well. But here's your exercise for your next family meeting, or for just a time maybe when it's just the two of you. You'll need a pen and paper or a notepad on your phone. We are a very paperless family, for the most part. So we'll be using
when I actually need paper, it's like, okay, does anyone in this house have paper?
Which I do. I always have 3x5 cards, and I always have notebooks, but you don't know where they are because what is it, ladies? He doesn't know how to find anything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's just funny that you mentioned you don't know where they are. Okay, so.
Oh, speaking of, I know, just a little rabbit trail here.
Okay.
The other day, I tracked in some stuff from outside. So first thing in the morning, it's kind of, the ground's typically damp here. And I took Coconut out to go potty, and then I ran around chasing him a little bit, just having fun. I came back in the house, didn't realize I was tracking in cut grass and all that.
Yes. So I did point it out to you.
Yes, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sweep it up. Can anyone tell me where we keep the broom?
How long have we lived here in this house?
Just 2.5 years.
Just 2.5 years, and Thomas doesn't know where we keep the broom. That tells you something.
I do now, but I couldn't find the dustpan. So here's what I did. We had things arranged because we were going to podcast, so our chair is out sitting between the living room and the kitchen.
It's a big chair. It's like a couch chair. Like it's our big chair that Thomas and I always sit in and cuddle together.
So I couldn't find the dustpan, so I just sweeped all the dirt underneath the chair.
Yes. And I found that out later when we put the house back. We put the house back together after podcasting and put the chair back. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on with our chair? There's a big pile of dirt. I was thinking, like, is the chair is the stuffing in the chair coming out? And I look closer and it's dirt. And I'm like, Thomas!
Did you sweep this under the chair? I'm like, guilty.
It took me 2 seconds to realize that that's exactly what happened. He swept up.
But in my defense, I didn't know where the dustpan was. The dustpan was not kept with the broom, which would make logical sense, but it doesn't.
Because our dustpan will not clip onto our broom. It has like one of the little brushes that you brush up. So I keep the dustpan next to the trash can.
And for whatever reason,
little broom.
we keep the broom in our tiny little pantry with the food.
Where would you put the broom in this house? In the garage? I'm not going to put it in the kitchen out.
But anyways, all that to say...
Can you see how we just air our grievances on this podcast?
Couldn't find it.
He couldn't find it. One more thing that he couldn't find. But
Two
now...
things, actually.
Well,
the
and
broom or the dustpan.
you do know where the dustpan is now. It's by the trash can.
Okay.
And the big broom is in the pantry. So now you do know. So no more excuses, right?
No more sweeping it under the chair.
No, we won't do that again. Okay.
Exercise.
This is your exercise. You have your pen and your paper. You have your notepad on your phone. You and your spouse are each going to write down all the good things that the other person does on a regular basis. This is the first step. All the good things. And you can even make a list, good things Thomas does.
Like what? What are some things?
Okay. So simple things like goes to work every day, comes home and
Do
sleeps,
I go to work every day?
and sleeps here every night. You do work every day, but
Yeah.
sometimes your going to work is going to your desk from the bed.
Yeah.
But a lot of you, that's what your work is.
It's a
lot of
long
people.
10 steps.
But working for the family. You could put working for the family.
Yeah.
Coming home every night. So these are things like, when was the last time you thanked your spouse for always being in bed at night? Like for coming home. We expect that of our spouse.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that they do, right? Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's putting laundry in the hamper rather than on the floor next to the hamper, or, whatever, wherever
Or
else
just
they could
throwing it
throw
in a general direction.
Yeah. And some people, that is what they're doing. But if they put their laundry in the hamper, write it down. Maybe they give you a hug here and there. Write that down. Kisses you goodbye before they leave. Write that down. They spend time with the kids, or maybe they help with the homework. They take the dogs out.
They smack your rear end when you walk by.
You could put that down if you feel like that's a good thing. I actually do feel like it's a good thing because I know it's your little love pat. Mm-hmm. It's attention. So what little good things like this would you add to the list that I have missed?
You talked about cooking. Mm-hmm. Cleaning. I mean, so much cleaning.
Yeah.
Listing all the different cleaning things, the grocery
Specifically,
lists.
yeah.
Yeah. Now for you, like I would put down you paint, your painting, and how that's helped provide for the family.
Yeah, so that's work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But even getting specific about what the work is.
Right, yes.
So.
Yeah. Basically, the goal is to make this list as long as you possibly can and to be super uber duper specific.
Yeah.
Write that down, everybody.
Uber duper.
Uber duper specific is what you're getting here. Okay? So that's the first section of your list.
All right. Now, the next thing you're going to do is write down every good thing they say. So we're moving past the action to think about the words that they use. So write down the times they say thank you to you.
Mm-hmm. You're great at that, Thomas.
When they say I love you, or positive words to your children. Don't forget the times that they are having a conversation with you and they share how they feel or what they think. Okay, those are good words.
Yeah.
You want that in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Add the times they say good morning or goodbye in a kind, friendly, polite way. This counts as good words they say also. So you're thinking about the positive, good words that they're saying.
Yeah. It could be like when maybe it's a wife bringing supper, to the table. Thanks for cooking. Sometimes we forget that they even do that. Like, it's nice when they do that, but we don't really focus on it very much. We're not really looking for it. So just trying to look for those good words that can be said.
Well, and here's the thing. Even in those relationships where you're having a rough time and you're even thinking about getting a divorce, there are positive things.
Yes.
If you'll look for them. There is something good about your spouse. There may be a lot of issues that need to be worked through and a lot of hurt and whatever else, but there are good things. You just have to learn to look for it. There's good things that they're doing. There's good things that they're saying, and there's positive character traits as well.
So that's the next part of your list. Okay. So now your next part is going to be positive character traits. So this is not what they do. This is not what they say. This is who they are. This is part of their character.
Yeah.
And a lot of you right now are thinking, my husband or my wife has terrible character. And that may be partially true, but it is not completely true.
They have positive character traits.
They do. And if you look for them, you will find them. So now you're going to start looking for character traits. And how do you go about that? You can do this by looking at your other two lists and realizing that the action that they've taken comes out of their character.
Yeah.
So for instance,
the words that they say come out of their character.
Exactly. Okay, so if they go to work every day, what character is that? That is a hard worker. That is provider. That is ambitious. That is loyal to an employer.
So Monday in our leadership group, as I mentioned, we were talking about just understanding the way that we see the world, that filter that we look through things at. And so we were talking about how we kind of view God and understanding that filter, right? And here I am talking to men. And so one of the things we were talking about is, as a father, positive, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, we kind of set the first expectation for our kids of who God the Father is like.
Yes.
And so we were kind of sharing about, okay, what are the ways that your dad filtered how you saw God? Mm-hmm. And so I think about one of the things that that I've always felt about God is that God would provide. Because that's the way my dad was. My dad was a hard worker. He always went to work, always faithful to work. It was a rare occasion where dad was out because of sickness. Even when he didn't feel well, he went to work. Mm-hmm. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I know my dad is a hard worker. Mm-hmm. And of course I viewed God as a provider because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so cool how that happens, how that works. And I mean, being a hard worker, that's a good work ethic that you can notice about your spouse. Okay, are they honest about their work? How many hours they work? When they clock in, are they working? Or when they clock in, are they doing other things that they shouldn't be doing? Are they, if they're not stealing from company time, they're honest in their work.
It reminds me of this story I read, and I forget where it was, but it was at some factory, and some of the workers had a secret place in the wall.
Oh my goodness.
Where they would take turns taking naps.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That sounds like more work to hide that and create that and be sneaky about it than just working.
Yeah, they had
working would be easier.
Some sort of little man cave in the wall that they made.
Why are you happy about this? That's a bad thing.
I know, but I'm just saying honest about work. I just thought it was funny.
I can tell you.
Like you're going to all this work just to rest.
You're going to all this work to not work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so if they're honest on their taxes, if they don't cheat on their taxes, that's honesty. That should be in your character trait list. Do they read their Bible and pray, or at least try to read their Bible and pray? They try to be good about this and try to be faithful in that.
They're a godly person.
They're godly. They're committed.
Yeah.
Do they play with the kids? Maybe not as much as you want or whatever, but do they play with their kids? They're energetic. They're selfless. They're loving. Those are compassionate.
Yeah.
These are character traits that you can see out of things that they do or that they say. Do they say thank you when you cook them a meal? Do they say thank you when you go to work? They're thankful. That is a character trait. Other character traits to be looking for, because maybe you're like, okay, I can't think of any other. What about courageous? Are they a defender for you or for your children? They're courageous. Are they creative? Can your wife design a beautiful home and create a welcoming space? Is she creative in that way? Is your husband creative? My husband is really creative on the computer and online, creating things.
What about this? Are they loyal?
Yeah, loyalty is a big one we
Or
overlook.
they're faithful, those sorts of things.
Absolutely. Ambitious. Are they confident? Are they funny? Are they humorous? Are they kind? Forgiving is a good character trait to look for. Are they clever? Are they fair? Are they persistent, cheerful, reliable? You get the idea, right? There's a lot of character traits out there, you guys.
So you're looking for the positive character traits and doing everything you can do to list each one of those.
Right.
That'll change the way that you view your spouse when you're looking for these positive things.
Right.
And you see how the list has progressed, right? The list progresses from, all right, what do they do? What do they say? And then you're looking at
Who are they?
who are they? And as Lysandra mentioned, the things we do and say come out of who we are. I think about, I don't remember the passage offhand, and I memorized this in the King James growing up. As he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Mm-hmm. Or out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Exactly.
And so all these things flow out of who we are. So if your spouse is doing things, and I know they are doing things that are good. I know they're saying things that are good. May not be as much as you want. It may not even be a lot. Mm-hmm. But they are. Mm-hmm. And those things are flowing out of who they are. They do have good character traits. You just have to look for them. And for some of us, that's going to be a lot more work because we're so used to finding and pointing out the negative. Mm-hmm. That this is a whole reframing of the way that we think about things.
Yes.
And the way that we see things and the way we feel about things. So you have these 3 lists made now. Good things they do, good words they say, good character traits. And over the next week, look for the things on your lists. Mm-hmm. So you've made the list. Now we're watching out for them. Watch for when they do these things, say these things, or exhibit these character traits.
So this is basically, you've got a white SUV. Now you're looking for the white SUV in the parking lot, and you see all the other white SUVs. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly. And I guarantee you will see them far more often than you realized. When you look for the good, you will find it.
That's right. So now you have the why behind, why do we look for what's good? You have the how do we change this? How do we do it? Now we just want to give you the warning. So here's the warning. It's very unfortunate to say that the reverse is true as well. When you look for the bad in people, you are sure to find it.
Yeah.
So there's your warning. Don't be looking for what's negative in your spouse. Don't be looking for the bad. Thomas and I today shared the annoyances that we have for each other. We've also shared other stuff too.
Well, and here's the thing. You don't have to look for the bad. The bad's going to find you.
Yeah, for
real.
real.
The annoying is going to find you. You don't have to look for it. You don't have to get out the magnifying glass and everything else and look for it.
Yeah, that's easy to find. It finds you. I like that. But we have to try to not notice it. We have to work to not focus on that.
Like maybe I'll turn TV up a little extra loud when you're drinking
how many
your
times
coffee.
have I been like, hey, I'm chewing, you're going to have to turn the TV up.
Yeah. I'm eating salad. I can't hear the TV.
Is that what I sound like?
No, you sound more like this. I'm eating salad. Turn up the TV. Rawr.
Wow, I am so pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so salad. I eat a lot of salad, so there's a lot of times when we can't hear what we're watching if we're eating and watching something. But listen, we've all got to examine ourselves, right? So obviously, we've shared with you that there are annoying things that we each do. We also have sins and faults that we are fighting and trying to do better and trying to overcome in our lives. Obviously, based on this episode, mine is overeating. Thomas is anger, but he's come a long way. I haven't come as far as he has. And so you realize that there are things that you have been looking for that are negative, and you want to change that. You want to do better. So it would be wise for each of us to examine ourselves and see, what have you been looking for? We got to look for it. Look within. What have you been looking for? And here's the verse that I love for this. Search me, O God, and see if there be any wicked way in me. Ask God to show you. Ask him to show you what's going on in your heart and how you've been viewing things. Even if it's been for years and you realize that you've been looking for the bad in your spouse, and this is your pattern, this is what you've been doing for years, you can change that today.
Yeah.
Today is your new start. Today is your clean slate. Change today. Reframe the way you view things today. You're going to begin by writing your positive lists, and then you're going to ask God to magnify the positive. Ask Him to make that positive known to you. Ask Him to help you see through the right eyes. And if you're going to change habits that you've built up for years, you're going to need help. You can't do this alone. So you're going to get help from the Holy Spirit. Bring God into this. Don't try to do things outside of God. Bring God into it. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you to see the positives and to breeze past the negatives, to not notice them, to not focus on them, but to breeze past them. And God can do that for you.
So family meeting tonight. First of all, you have to do your homework before the family meeting.
Oh, before it.
So you've got to make your list, right?
Okay.
And then at the family meeting, what you're going to do is you're going to go around the room and talk about the positive things.
I love it.
So you're going to list one of the family members. And we do this from time to time with our girls where, all right, Violet. Everybody go around the room and say a positive thing that they like about Violet. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to take some time to do this where it's, all right, what's something positive they do? What's something positive they often say? And what is a positive character trait about them? So you're helping them to go through the exercise as well, and teaching them how to see the positive in their family members.
And this whole episode, we have been focused on marriage, but the truth is this is also true about your children. If you look for the positives in your children, you'll find them. If you look for the negatives in your children, you'll find them. So you can translate this entire episode to the parent-child relationship also, but we've been focusing on marriage today. But that's your family meeting, and it should be a very good exercise for you and your spouse, or if you do it as a family. Thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
I'm excited about next week's episode, and we want to invite you to join us because on our next family meeting, we are going to talk about bringing up hard conversations with your kids.
So you're excited to have hard conversations with your kids, huh?
I'm excited to talk about the right way to do it because we have such an awesome example in Jesus of how to do this, based in Revelation when he writes the 7 letters to the 7 churches, because he had to bring up difficult conversations with his children, his church, and it's really cool how he does it. It's perfect in how he does it, and we want to learn from that. We're going to glean from that on how to bring up these hard conversations. All of us have stuff we've got to talk to our kids about. We all have stuff where it's like, okay, you haven't been doing your homework the right way. You haven't been doing the chores the right way. I don't like how you're talking to your siblings. Fill in the blank, right? How do we bring that up to our kids in the right way? We're going to talk about that next week.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.
So what about you? Are you more positive? Are you more negative person, pessimist, optimist?
Or are you a realist?
You see things the way they are.
Who is a fake realist, but you're really a negative person. You just don't want to be labeled that way. So you call yourself a realist?
I like that little joke about the realist. Have you heard about this? And so an optimist will say the glass is half full. Pessimist says glass is half empty. Realist says there's pee in this glass.
Ew. Gross.
See? Isn't that good? Isn't that good?
Why couldn't it be sweet tea or water?
Isn't that good though? Like they're arguing about if it's half full or half empty, and he's like, dude, there's urine in this. What does it matter? That's the realist.
You know what? It shows your negativity that urine is the thing in the cup.
I didn't come up with it.
But you identify as a realist, therefore that's your people. So
I didn't come up with it.
Yeah, it's your people. And if I were going to write that same phrase or meme or whatever it is,
You'd say the glass is half full.
Nope.
Yeah, you would.
I would say, if I was going to say what's in the glass, it would be something delicious, like sweet tea or water. or juice or I don't know, soda pop. I would never say it was urine. That proves that realists are actually pessimists. Bam. Mic drop. Point proven. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. Yeah.
I disagree. But we'll have to continue this discussion off camera. Because your hand tastes disgusting.
What?
Go wash your hand. It tastes like urine.
It does not. It smells like soap. Smell my hand and tell the people it smells like soap.
Ugh, urine.
I just washed my hands.
Yeah, did you?
Yes.
In urine?
Shut up. You're so gross. You're so gross. Why? Why are you so gross? Oh my goodness.
I'm a realist. We'll see you next time.